Contemplation practice is about openly, honestly, and lovingly taking a good look as much at reality as we possibly can handle at any given point in time, without having to get the defenses of our minds out of the way. To do that, we need to show up for ourselves and start thinking more deeply about what we are actually thinking. To do that, we need to get the endless drone of our mind chatter out of the way. Contemplative practices are like doorways or portals that provide the bare attention of present moment transcendence, simple self-awareness that can allow you to mindfully be focused and aware of one's deeper thoughts and emotions. A contemplative practice helps you to awaken your inner observer. Aristotle said that contemplation is known both as the highest form of activity and also is the most continuous, because we are more capable of continuous contemplation, more so than we are of any other practical activity. So it is doing everything and nothing all at the same time, and it is a truly wonderful experience. The part of your brain that lights up when your sacred self is activated is the opposite area of your brain that is activated when you are in ego-defensive survival mind. Here are 21 ways to practice contemplation so that you can experience yourself, others, and the universe far more wholly and more holistically for yourself. Contemplative practices develop many aspects of ourselves. As practices of discipline for body and mind, there are a number of immediate benefits. Mindfulness and profound self-awareness, awareness of physical movements, posture, and rhythms of your body. Attention, a holistic approach to well-being. Bringing balance, developing empathy, compassion, and connectivity to all things internal and external. Self-awareness, self-regulation, self-inquiry. And lastly, psychological transformation and mental training. As Deepak Chopra says, we must go beyond the constant clamor of ego, beyond the tools of logic and reason, to the still, calm place within us, the realm of the soul. Contemplative practices quiet the mind in order to cultivate the capacity for deeper awareness of what is practical, radical, and transformative. We must deepen our concentration and learn the art of quietening the mind in the midst of the action and distraction of life that fills every day. This state of calm centeredness is an aid to exploration of meaning, purpose, and values. These practices are designed to quiet the mind in the midst of stress and distraction. They are all about creating more and more interconnectedness with life so that you can become more and more productive. Number 1, gratitude practice. People who regularly practice gratitude by taking time to notice and reflect upon the things they're thankful for experience far more positive emotions, feel more alive, sleep better, express more compassion and kindness, and even have stronger immune systems. Gratitude is the opposite of your mind's best friend, judgment. Name 5 things you are grateful for as you wake up and before you go to sleep, and don't ever underestimate what the power of gratitude can do for you. 2, contemplative communication in relationships. Typically, we associate being contemplative as part of a spiritual practice one does on their own. But in order to relate to others, we need to go inside ourselves quite deeply and intimately. We need to become vulnerable and open, and we must open up connection if we want deep, meaningful relationships to last. Relationships all need sacred space to be part of the process. In Imago relationship therapy, they teach couples a dialogue process which embodies the notion of contemplative communication. The process creates a safe space for couples to go deeper and experience stronger connection. Asking, what do I bring into the space in my relationships, is a good place to start. Is it stress, anxiety, or perhaps shame, blame, and criticism? Some of us are defensive and closed. Some of us are quiet by nature, while others scream, shout, and force themselves to be heard or understood. Learning contemplative communication starts with enough trust to know that you're able to regulate your emotions long enough to allow reality of the situations at hand to remain out there. Love is a verb. There is little more loving than allowing others space and time to think, feel, collect, and contemplate. Contemplative walking. Walking is still said to be the best all-round exercise a person can do today. Contemplative walking, especially in nature, brings you closer to nature and your body. The internal is drawn to the external and vice versa. Wear comfortable clothing and open shoes or no shoes. Become aware of the heel to toe and knee to foot and hip rhythms as you slowly walk, feeling and hearing, contemplating the ground beneath your feet, and really staying conscious of your balanced breathing. Turn the volume down on your internal mind chatter, and when your intention drifts, bring it back by naming what you see and then contemplating that tree or wave or butterfly for a brief moment, noticing how everything is as connected as you are to the ground. As you walk, lift your arms whenever you remember to take deep breaths. A gentle greeting, bow, or hand wave to others, objects, and animals can make you even more connected if you are willing to be a little bit more out there with your thinking. 4. Silent retreat. When last did you do no talking in silence, only listening? It may be no coincidence that listening and silence both contain the same letters. You may be surprised how vocal we can be out of habit. Scrolling on our phones, chatting to a partner. Silent retreats are a tool to help us master obsessive thoughts, and the habit of mindfulness is really about connecting to higher self, a higher power, and nature. Being contemplative is deliberately focusing your attention on the present moment. This means becoming comfortable with stillness and silence, striving to grow in awareness of your thoughts and feelings without the judgment. By getting in touch with the here and now, you can let go of the stress of regretting the past or obsessively worrying about the future. Start with intention by taking your own vow of silence for 20 minutes or so in the beginning. Keep quiet and sit, preferably in nature, but anywhere will do. Phones off, no smoking. Consciously focus on the present moment. Start by focusing on your breath and keep gently reminding yourself to return your attention to your breath. Breathe deeply and purposefully. Gradually work on paying attention to other sensations in your body and what's around you. Look at the sights nearby and appreciate what is beautiful. Connect to all of it. Listen to all the sounds and observe the color and the light, but no running off with your thinking where possible. Savor the sense. Noticing is a gift. Embrace all that you can fully experience in one present moment sit. Just be. When your thoughts start to wander, return your attention to this moment in time. Experience the sensation of being safe and at peace right here and right now. Silently ask for what you really, really need. Let go and become the silence. Just be like what everything else is. You can also use centering as a word or a sentence to bring you back out of mind chatter. You may use something like all is well, I am well. It'll keep you centered in the silence. Finally, relax. This contemplation practice takes practice. You'll get better over time. As Lao Tzu once said, muddy water let stand, becomes clear. 5. Contemplative pages. Contemplative pages are central to the practice of sacred journaling. It follows stream of consciousness writing and is designed as a free association kind of exercise, more than anything else. Practicing upon waking or when the thought to write crosses your mind is a good idea. Just go and do it. This practice is a purgation that brings catharsis and a refreshing release that somehow help many people find healing and peace, and it's been so over centuries. Set a timer for 20 minutes if you like, or just write 3 pages of longhand if possible, letting go of all ideas of perfectionism and of right and wrong. The main thing is to just let your thoughts flow onto the paper. No one should see these pages of yours ever. That can really disrupt the flow of what may be needed to materialize from heart to head and hand to paper. Write without thinking and see what flows from your writing. There is no wrong way to do contemplative pages, and seldom have I ever heard of anyone who did not have a profound personal breakthrough after a few days of writing. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Contemplative art can also be called slow art, Zen art, or mindfulness drawing. But what we are interested most about here is how it gets us to awaken to reality and presence. Before you get started with getting your pen and paper out, try and prepare to be contemplative in a moment just for today. Our minds are our records of the past. Taking mental shortcuts is second nature to the brain's daily activities. The consequence, however, is that we can lose the gist of really seeing things the way they are. Contemplative art is a Zenful practice that helps us to re-appreciate as we re-see things again. Photographers and artists alike have shared how practicing contemplative art is meditative by nature and has changed the way they see images and things and even the world itself. Gaze rather than glance at all the art you have around your home. Paintings, carvings, ornaments. When was the last time you really noticed them? Gaze out your window frame and see the contents of what you see there as works of art. When you're ready, draw, scribble, do a stickman sketch, anything that comes to mind. Create something, anything, everything. Contemplative art practices are naturally inclusive of a state of consciousness and provide great personal insight into who we really are. 7. Lectio Divina. Lectio Divina is a contemplative reading practice, or divine reading as it's also called. It is sacred reading, and it involves taking short pieces of text and really focusing on the words and their deeper meanings. It's a favorite contemplative practice of mine. Make more conscious contact with God in 4 simple steps with Lectio Divina. St. John of the Cross said, "Seek in reading, and you will find in meditation. Knock in prayer, and it will be open to you in contemplation." So read a text, meditate, pray, and then contemplate the mystical experience. There is no need to analyze or direct or even understand what you read, as much as to focus on how the words really relate to you personally. Practice alone or with others, and approach the practice with an open mind and an attitude of reverential hearing. You may be profoundly surprised, as I was, at what you can start to understand from this wisdom practice. Centering practice. Now, centering is an incredible tool for stress relief and can be used before you do anything that you may ordinarily find stressful. Your brain needs to practice softening instead of tensing, and staying open instead of activating stress responses like fight, flight, or freeze. An important meeting, recital, public speaking engagement, or sports event, is a great way to practice de-stressing with a centering practice. So first we focus on the breath. Then we can do some lunges, flap our arms, move the body, straighten your spine, or tense and release your muscles throughout your body. Lastly, find your center and then redirect your energy, body and mind back to your purpose and intentions, which may be to share your talents, your music, your thoughts and words with others. This tends to keep the main thing, and can even be achieved by repeating a centering word, phrase, or mantra. It is a beautiful practice of letting go, and just by accepting being yourself, breathing and moving, we can practice centering. 9. Aikido. Aikido means the way of harmonizing energy, and Aikido trains your mind to control your body's reactions using mindfulness and your energy, Shakti or Chi. This holds that all physical and mental power comes from the flow of energy around your body. Energy is lost when you are tense or stressed, but centering redirects negative energy in a beneficial way. Another 4-part contemplative practice that starts with breathing calmly and focusing, then seeing yourself as centered in a ball of bright light with warm colors. Third, you consciously feel gravity supporting you as it weighs on your body, arms, legs, and steadies you. And then fourthly, gently think of 3 main qualities you want to embody, like peace, purpose, and harmony, and you'll have started practicing Aikido. 10. Contemplative prayer. Now, you don't need to be religious to practice contemplative prayer or sacred communication, because with contemplative prayer, other faculties are actively employed in an effort to understand our relationship with God. Contemplative prayer curtails the ordinary and has been described simply as a gaze of faith, a silent love. Contemplative prayer is all about remaining silently and openly present in front of God. Almost instantly, when we do this, our brains are rewired to think with empathy, love, and compassion. Isn't that miraculous? It allows us to experience God as mystery rather than just what we think we know about God. So holding space, we can begin to let go of all of our doubts and just accept divine reality as whatever it may be. So what is contemplative prayer? Well, St. Teresa said that contemplative prayer, in my opinion, is nothing else than a close sharing between friends. It means taking time to frequently be alone with Him who knows and loves us. Contemplative prayer seeks Him whom my soul loves. So God is beyond being. He is a hyper being. So God is beyond the gulf of nothingness that we think separates us from Him or her. God is all things divine. And in the end, there really is no separation in reality. And contemplative prayer helps us to see this for ourselves. Mindfulness practice. The RAIN method of recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture is as simple as mindfulness practice can get and as complicated as it ever needs to be. When we practice mindfulness, we're practicing the art of creating space for ourselves to think, space to breathe, space between ourselves and our recreations and our actions. Any mindfulness practice is about the quality or state of being of consciousness, of being aware of something. That's it. That's what we can do daily. 12. Yoga Nidra or yogic sleep is a state of consciousness between waking and sleeping, like the going to sleep stage, typically induced by a guided meditation. It helps us to embrace and hold liminal space for ourselves, which is the space between where we have come from and where we're going. So to practice Yoga Nidra, start by repeating a clear intention you have for yourself several times. Next, rotate your awareness through one side of your body in quick succession. Bring your awareness to your fingers, then hands, then limbs, and so on, repeating your intentions or mantra whenever you become conscious of saying it. It is not called yogic sleep for nothing, and people often fall asleep during this practice. Use a guided Yoga Nidra video or audio. It can really help you. Practice the 5 contemplative life questions. This practice comes from the area of contemplative intelligence. 5 fundamental life questions are as profound as they are healing. The right contemplative questions will open the doors to knowing the right answers. Spending a few minutes contemplating each of these questions will bring some stress, and then comfort quickly follows. You see, all these questions need to be known and are known. We have come from somewhere. We have become something and are going somewhere with all of us, all of ourselves. Practice all of the 5 fundamental life questions whenever you are lost, whenever you seek guidance. The questions are: where have I been? Who am I? Where am I now? Why am I where I am right now? Where am I going? It may help at first to put those 5 questions on paper. 14. Anjali Mudra is a powerful, super simple, and quick practice to help you instantly rebalance. It is when you bring your right and left hands together, and more significantly, your right and left brain together in yoga, and of course in prayer. Obsessive thinking, depression, stress and coping are all about not being able to be here and now in the present moment. Comfort zones are our most preferred addiction. As much as monkey mind is an addiction to non-presence and chaos, to the rubbish of yesterday and tomorrow, so we can all become stuck in the way we do life. There are many definitions for the Anjali Mudra. Most are misunderstood. The main essence of the super simple practice is that of returning to the heart, to a state of composure. It's about connection. This is the only way we must tackle any of life's problems. Never with the monkey mind. Hands together as a sign of your intention to stay open, humble and connected to life, other people and nature, itself is enough to ensure you grow spiritually in your life. Contemplative prayer. Remaining silently and openly in God's presence rewires our brains to think with compassion, kindness, and a lack of attachment to the ego's preferences. We begin to move beyond language and experience God as mystery. We let go of our need to judge, defend, or evaluate, plugging into the mind of Christ, which becomes something that supersedes paradox. It helps us understand our own divine identity. During contemplation, we come to know that there is no separation between the sacred and the secular. All is one with divine reality. 16. The work. The work was developed by Byron Katie and is rooted in contemplation as the art of seeing what really is. So the work is contemplation. It is a method of self-inquiry into itself that is incredibly interesting. This practice allows you to access the wisdom that always exists within you. Whenever you are stuck, confused or lost, or cannot find answers to problems that you feel you have, ask yourself 4 simple questions and write the answers down. Worksheets are available free online. Question 1, is it true? Question 2, can you absolutely know that it's true? Question 3, how do you react? What happens when you believe the thought? Question 4. Who would you be without that thought? With the work, we question stressful thoughts head on, and through that questioning, the thoughts lose their power over us. Great spiritual texts describe the what it means to be free. The work is the how. It shows you exactly how to identify and question any thought that would keep you from freedom. To begin, drop into stillness and observe what arises in the mind's eye. Then answer the 4 questions. Concentration practice on cloud shifting. Dr. Wayne Dyer used the practice of cloud shifting whenever he wanted to connect to the universe more deeply. Simply gaze at the clouds for a few minutes. Then simply make shapes with those clouds. Create as creation does. Connect as it does, and see how powerfully you can be when you are cool, calm, and collected. The sky really is the limit to what we can do and who we can become. Qigong practices are contemplative body practices and meditation techniques that emerge from Chinese philosophical, medical, and marital traditions. Qigong is a movement and breath in unison. So people practice Qigong for recreation, exercise, preventative medicine, learning the art of self-regulation and self-healing. In Qigong, you focus on rhythmic breathing, settle the mind, and then relax the body. Then you learn to move and breathe in unison. Questing or pilgrimage practice. Go on a journey somewhere interesting, where things have happened that appeal to you. Greece, Rome, Italy, or somewhere just around the corner. Discover how people lived, thought, and loved, how they worked, what they ate. Discover what their spiritual practices were. Become interested, connect, and investigate. We have become so used to being entertained wherever we go on vacation. Instead, discover traditions, roots, and ancestors on your quest. Adventure may be calling you to embrace more mystery, uncertainty, and adventure in your life. 20. Cultivate a beginner's mind. Re-look at everything you have ever seen. Re-listen, relearn, and reimagine reality. Our perceptions have changed since we first thought about an apple, an ocean, or an insect. Yet our mind and its mental shortcut tendencies are flooded with daily habit making that make us eat the same foods, get out of bed on the same side, shower in the same way, dress or brush our hair and teeth in the same way. Try to cultivate a beginner's mind as a daily contemplative practice, also known as Shoshin in Zen. We can experience the world in a fresh, new way today, no matter what our past experience might have been like. If you think the world is a bad and evil place, look outside your window right now. Even though human thinking is extremely primitive, broken even, the world, people, and places are still intrinsically good. The world is a beautiful, big, and mysterious place for us to explore and navigate until the day we move on to whatever lies next. Re-examining everything, every day as you recultivate a beginner's mind, is a practice that must really be one of my favorite. 21. Radical self-love. Self-love means having a high regard for your own well-being and happiness. Self-love means taking care of your own needs and not sacrificing your well-being to please others. Cultivate self-love by stopping comparing and judging others, and then yourself. Also, in turn, let go of the opinion of others. Love is patient, kind, generous, unafraid, and is not selfish. So loving yourself more deeply each day is something everyone can benefit from. Go on a date alone. Spend quality time in places you love on your own. Self-love allows us the space and time to become more conscious and contemplative of who we are, where we have been, and where we are going in life. Practice radical self-love daily, knowing that you cannot give away anything you don't already have yourself. You can't give patience, generosity, or selflessness if you don't have it yourself to give. So now we know that the contemplative state of mind is rather a state of being and a way of living. It is about giving and receiving, listening and making sounds, stillness and movement. It is about breath and no breath. Contemplative practice is about being present to the real moment rather than it being lost by the ego's endless self-judgments. You may resonate more with some practices than others. Which is a perfect practice for you is entirely up to you. There is no right or wrong practice with contemplation. If you're doing it right. Namaste.